Have you ever seen a flying saucer? According to a recent Gallup survey, 14% of the Americans questioned said they had. And as our Richard Weiss reports, celebrities ranging from rock stars to presidents have stories that are out of this world.
You are looking at perhaps the most dramatic and controversial UFO footage in existence. Shot by a Swiss farmer 16 years ago, this 8mm home movie has been analyzed by scientists worldwide, and so far, no conclusive signs of fakery have been found. People throughout the world have reported seeing unidentified flying objects. A poll shows that 10% of Americans say they've seen them. Skeptics, however, point out there must be an earthly explanation. But when celebrities, government officials, even presidents say they've seen them, it makes you wonder. On August 23, 1974, John Lennon and his girlfriend May Pang saw a UFO over their New York apartment building.
It was so close to us, we could see it. It was a circular saucer-like, and it had bright white lights around, blinking, and one red light that was on top.
A few weeks after the sighting, Lennon went public with the close encounter in a radio interview.
I just sort of turned round, and there was this thing about 100 foot away and very low, below the height of the buildings, you know? And I was thinking, what is it? I think, it's a flying saucer. It must be a flying saucer, you know? But you don't want to face it, you know? Even if you're a freak like me, you still want to think, oh, it's a balloon or something, you know? You don't want to really think that it's something else.
He just kept looking at it, and, you know, he says, I just want to see what it's like inside. He goes, I would love that.
Lennon wasn't the only celebrity in New York to have a UFO sighting. In 1967, Muhammad Ali was jogging right here when he looked up in the sky and he saw a strange light.
We all saw them. There were several of them up in the sky. They were objects, they were lights.
Bill Vergan, a Daily News reporter for 20 years, was covering Ali's training session in Central Park that morning. He too saw the UFO.
It hovered for what seemed like a very long time, which was perhaps a minute or less, and then just whoosh, disappeared behind the buildings. Ali was extremely excited. He started screaming. I can remember he kept yelling, it's the mothership, it's the mothership.
Muhammad was deep into that mothership routine because I heard it many, many times, many places.
Angelo Dundee is Muhammad Ali's longtime trainer and close friend.
Muhammad, when those guys come down, please let me meet them. I want to manage one of those, train one of those guys, because it would have been the first. So we made a little joke out of it, in my own little way. But he was serious. Forget about joke. He felt and believed something was following him.
He apparently believed that this was perhaps the coming of a messenger in one of these spacecrafts.
Evidence that UFOs could be extraterrestrial spacecraft has been mounting since the late 40s. Photographic experts, including those at NASA, are baffled by these images. They were taken over the last 5 years by the residents of Gulf Breeze, Florida. The effect of UFO visits on small-town residents was the basis of Steven Spielberg's Close Encounters of the Third Kind, a movie President Jimmy Carter asked to see in a special White House screening. Carter, it seems, had his own close encounter when he was then governor of Georgia. He observed the UFO along with 10 other witnesses.
I, Jimmy Carter, do solemnly swear.
Shortly after Carter was sworn in as president, an official UFO sighting report he filed was made public. In it, he described his sighting. Item: the object came close, moved away, came close, and then moved away. Item: it was bluish at first, then reddish, luminous, not solid. Item: it was as large and bright as the moon. President Carter wasn't the only chief executive to have a UFO encounter. Now it can be told that when Ronald Reagan was governor of California, he instructed his pilot to follow a UFO he spotted from his plane.
We were at 35,000 feet coming up from Los Angeles, just past Fresno, in the vicinity of a place called Modesto.
Bill Paynter was flying the plane when then Governor Reagan and his security people alerted him to a big light that seemed to be keeping pace.
The governor says, well, let's see if we can get a little closer to it. So we started moving toward it.
Paynter says the object looked like the underside of a street light, was very large, and was going about the same speed.
It followed us just off for the wingtip, probably a half a mile or a mile. And when we started turning toward it, it paralleled our flight, and then it just took off.
The experience made Paynter a believer. What about Reagan?
Oh, I'm sure he is. Nobody could see that and not be a believer.
Reagan's interest in UFOs led him to ask for his own White House screening of a movie about extraterrestrials, Steven Spielberg's E.T. Jamie Shandera co-produced a Japanese documentary on Spielberg. He says the director was amazed by the president's reaction to the film.
He said that following the screening, he said he stood up, President Reagan stood up. Reagan reached over, put his hand on his shoulder, looked him square in the eye and said, "You know, there aren't 6 people in this room know how true that is."
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat.
Interestingly, during President Reagan's second term, the subject of space aliens repeatedly popped up in his speeches.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. But I've often wondered, what if all of us in the world discovered that we were threatened by a power from outer space, from another planet?
So it's not just people you've never heard of who've had these close encounters. Should these celebrity sightings influence what the rest of us think of UFOs? That's something you'll have to decide for yourself.